So, good morning, everyone, and I'm delighted to welcome you to the third SDG and Music Summit here at Reeperbahn Festival. The topic of sustainability has been moving the music industry for, of course, quite a while, but I don't think it's moving enough yet. And you can see that in the topics that delegates of the conference are interested in leading up to the event. You can see that by looking at which individual events are marked as favorites and how often on the platform and on the website. And it has to be said that anything to do with TikTok, with Instagram or YouTube continues to attract more attention. This makes it all more important that we continue to position the topic of sustainability and social responsibility in the music industry. And there is also something happening around the Reeperbahn Festival. We have the Future Playground in the festival village since 2019, where organizations and companies present their sustainable projects. And of course, we have the SDG and Music Summit here, and we also had the music dialogue in the City Town Hall yesterday. And that was interesting because the music dialogue is an event where all the lobby organizations and the most important people in music in Germany come together once in a year, and they decided to make sustainability the most important topic for the next round in a year or so, and that they were very much encouraged and engaged in this topic was an outcome of this music dialogue that was really great to see. And I hope that they won't forget and that we have even more of these kinds of sessions and more dedication to this topic during the next 12 months and finally at Reeperbahn Festival 2022. And there are many initiatives and organizations that have formed in recent years that are dedicated to the cause and want to raise awareness for sustainability in music. Some of them are sitting here on stage today. So something is moving that can be seen in such a micro world as the Reeperbahn Festival, but there's still some room for improvement, of course. In the past, my perception, the focus was mainly on the live sector. Now the focus is more on the field of recorded music and there the energy-intensive distribution of music via digital platforms and streaming. And I would be happy if this summit can make another small contribution to further strengthen this awareness. I would like to thank all participants, speakers, moderators, and especially Alice Feltrow from Sound Diplomacy, and my colleague Christian Tjaben from the editorial team of Reeperbahn Festival Conference for the organization of today's program. I wish everyone a successful discussion and a nice Reeperbahn Festival. Small round of applause. Thanks. And now I welcome on stage two more guests and speakers. Angharad Cooper, who will do a short presentation now on the recently published Music and SDG guide, right?
Right.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much, Detlef, for the introduction. I'm Angharad Cooper, and I'm delighted to be here representing the Center for Music Ecosystems, which is a new research-based NGO exploring music's connection to each of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And as we know as well, this is the third edition of the Sustainable Development Goals and Music Summit hosted by Music Cities Events, with a whole host of amazing speakers, so thanks to them too. So, I'm hoping I can get these slides to work here. It's right here. Right, excellent, thank you. Great. So I'm looking forward to just hopefully walking you through, albeit at a pretty fast pace, the Guide to Music and the 17 SDGs. So this is just a quick taster of some of the content within, and you can find this freely available to download from the Center for Music Ecosystems website. I'd also like to mention that it was produced in partnership with the International Music Council, the European Music Council, and several UN agencies, many of whom are obviously also here today. So the guide is designed to demonstrate that an intentional and deliberate investment in music across education, well-being, economic growth, sustainable urbanisation, and human development produces a real return on investment across every single one of the 17 goals. And particularly at the moment, as the world starts to open back up again and regain some semblance of normality in the wake of COVID, maybe it's useful to also remind ourselves about the acceleration of the appreciation of music in our homes that was experienced during confinement around the world. If we're in this room today, it's probably fair to say that we already recognise how powerful music is to the human spirit and condition. But while the appreciation of music may have accelerated, the recognition of it in global policy has not. There's still no global policy language that demonstrates the role of music as an ecosystem that interlinks all of us, no matter where we are. So anyway, I'm going to quickly take you through the 17 points in question, each with a super quick example of what might be done in response, and hopefully get us thinking about what we might be able to contribute. So, goal number 1, no poverty. So one single but powerful example here might be intellectual property expansion. When music is properly registered and managed, it can continue to earn income for all involved long after the song is written and released. Bearing in mind we have so many countries in the world without even proper land rights, we can imagine that there's probably some way to go, but also how effective it could also be. Goal 2 is zero hunger. For example, in the case of live events, partnerships with grocers or caterers means that unused food, be it through concessions or backstage, could be recycled into the local supply chain to provide meals for those who need it. And all concerts, large or small, could at little to no cost employ a no-waste food policy, thereby creating civic opportunities to feed those who need it most. Goal 3, good health and well-being. Highly unlikely to be new information to anybody in this room, but numerous studies tell us about the positive impact that music has on our health and well-being. Be that from tribal dance to weddings and funerals, music impacts how we feel about each other, how we communicate, and how we build relationships. So how about incorporating music and well-being into COVID recovery? For example, music programs available to all as we ease into the end of lockdowns. And one great example of this going on currently is English National Opera, where singers are teaching long COVID sufferers the breathing techniques in which they are expert via online Zoom classes. Goal 4, quality education. There's a global opportunity to improve knowledge exchange, cognition, and community empowerment. And this could be achieved by funding the expansion of music education at every school, everywhere. We've all heard hundreds of times that learning music isn't just about music, but interpersonal communication, literacy, maths, and reading, amongst others. Equally, we know that the world's most listened to genre is hip-hop. The second most listened to is metal, and both of these are very rarely incorporated into the classroom. Expanding the genres available to children to learn and experiment with creates a wider appreciation for the full spectrum of culture, which then in turn positively impacts how we can understand and empathise with others. Goal 5, of course, is gender equality, and there's still plenty of work to be done in addressing how we can embed women at every level in the music ecosystem. But let's take as an obvious example, Key Change, supporting and encouraging festivals and music organisations such as Reeperbahn to include at least 50% women and underrepresented genders in programming, staffing and beyond. Goal 6, clean water. Let's reimagine music festivals as places for experimentation, with each festival being essentially a mini settlement, and one that requires setting up and taking down within a week. So from an infrastructure perspective, we can really find similarities between music festivals and, for example, displacement camps, where clean water, sewage, electricity and other needs must be provided to a large number of people in an efficient manner as possible. Goal 7 is affordable and clean energy. Why not imagine for a moment solar panels for every music venue? and every music venue could be invited to install these, either at a discounted rate or for some kind of tax relief or incentive. A network of energy producing venues could therefore reduce energy bills and emissions, both for themselves but also for the wider community. Goal 8 is decent work and economic growth. So, for example, if we truly recognised all artists as the small businesses that they are, then they deserve to have access to finance, microloans, access to spaces and places, and other training opportunities. And by recognising and reframing this, we could harness a whole host of other opportunities to invest in their development. Goal 9 is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And, for example, one really striking example here would be making access to the internet a global human right. By recognising the desire for music in emerging markets, sustainable infrastructure projects could be fast-tracked to achieve this much more quickly. The streaming of music grew by nearly 400% in just 3 years in Africa between 2016 and 2019. And another example is that Tanzania is the fastest growing media and entertainment market in the world up until the present day. Goal 10, reducing inequality with and among countries. So we know that the use of music across society can be a powerful tool to combat inequality. By incorporating music into harm reduction strategies, we could expect to see more working musicians and fewer incarcerations. For example, drill music is being used to combat gang culture in the UK, providing a creative outlet for at-risk youth to express themselves creatively rather than through violence. Goal 11 is sustainable cities and communities. Music, as I've just mentioned, can be effectively used to support conflict resolution, language skills, and community building in temporary cities, such as also displacement camps. This is also prevalent in the work of UK charity In Place of War, who do brilliant work building music infrastructure in conflict areas, ensuring that music is what fills people's days rather than taking up arms. Goal 12 is responsible consumption and production. In the UK, for example, a number of music companies are bundling their office energy requirements via the Independent Trade Association, negotiating better rates with green energy suppliers, as well as greener means of physical production, for example, for vinyl. And 13 is, of course, climate action. We all recognise the urgency around this, so let's encourage a shift towards seeing this action as being completely normal. And that goes from green riders for artists and technicians to eliminating plastic cups at events, studios and rehearsal spaces, and committing, therefore, en masse to renewable energy. Every nation should basically have guidance led by its music sector, where practical steps are outlined, showing that the wider ecosystem is combating the climate emergency. No matter where music is heard, the environment around it should always be sustainable and focused on renewables. 14 may seem a tricky one, life below water, but in fact there are a number of ways that music can positively support this also. We could look at revised water policies regarding music, so that no music event, no matter how large, sells bottled water, or initiatives where reusable cups are provided as the norm. We can also think further afield to island music tourism. Currently, no island music tourism framework exists anywhere in the world. So such a policy would be an opportunity for all island nations to give consideration to that. Life on land. So festivals could, in a sense, be reframed as solution incubators here. By monitoring the way in which events impact on the land they use, we can provide adaptable solutions that could be rolled out across the world. That might include monitoring overused walking trails to wristbands designed to monitor food purchases. But a festival can essentially be seen as a microcosm of a city, and so therefore we can also learn from the data and insights collected. 16, peace, justice and strong institutions. Music is already a proven tool for promoting restorative justice, and if we ensure that music programs are funded in prisons and rehabilitation centres, we'll see the mental health and well-being effects of music, which can also instill a sense of self-worth in individuals and ultimately reduce the cost to institutions. And last but not least, partnerships. So from using music to attract investment, through to music being a tool for sustainable tourism, countless examples exist of music partnerships making places, people and institutions better. Music can be invented in one place, developed in another, and then listened to around the world. So take traditional Hawaiian steel guitar music, such as featured in the Disney film Moana, which originated in the Maluku province, Indonesia, was then developed in Hawaii and then transformed into a valuable asset in California. And it is now listened to all over the world. So let's appreciate that every genre of music has its own story and every sound has its own prospective purpose. So yes, basically just a quick whirlwind tour of some of the contents of the guide, which I hope has been interesting. But I'd love to invite all of you to head to the Center for Music Ecosystems website and download the guide for yourselves, or just drop me a line on the email address here. We'd love to open a conversation about it, so please do get in touch and we can continue the conversation. Thank you very much.
Are you inviting Marina?
Yes, okay, or you can.
I know.
Okay. But also, I'd like to invite on stage now Marina Ponti, Director of the United Nations SDG Action Campaign.
Thank you.
Yeah, hello, welcome, Marina. We just have a few minutes left for this short welcome, and then the first proper panel will be here on stage. But maybe you can let us know a little bit about what you're doing and the campaign and your job in it.
Okay, thank you. So it's such a pleasure to be here in a live event after so many months. And we are here a few days before the 6th anniversary of the SDG. So I know you are all well aware, and thank you for presenting this guide, which is very useful. And I think this moment is very important because despite the challenges and the setback on the SDGs because of the pandemic, we have now the power and the opportunity to make the bold decision and shift which are needed to build more sustainable and just societies. So in doing so, music is very important, not just because music is a universal language and music unites us, and music, as you said, as what kept us going during the lockdown, but also because music can really inspire us to take action. And we have seen many artists over the decades that really play and wrote songs that are soundtrack to revolution. But at the same time, the music sector also holds a great responsibility. As any other sector, the music sector can do more to become more sustainable and to become more just. And I think the guide is a fantastic example, giving some very practical tools for the music industry. With some of the leaders of the music industry, we have created a sort of a call to action called Play Fair, where we encourage music festival to do events that are more sustainable during the daylight, using stages or location that already are there, achieving and even do more in terms of gender equality on stage and off stage, and eliminating plastic and other waste. So there are many, many ways in which the music sector can lead the example and then can trigger and leverage music to really bring about that vision. And if there is anything that the last 2 years have taught us, is that change is possible, and actually change can also happen very quickly when there is a vision and then when there is a will. So I really hope that this festival, that this forum can really inspire through the music, the amazing music which is happening here, inspire people, but at the same time that the music sector can be ahead of other sectors and really also inspire transformation through the way music events and performances are rolled out all over the globe. And again, with the shared vision of achieving through music, social and climate justice. I don't know if there is time to show a 1-minute clip from a Playfair event that can show the power of music and can show how, more sustainable events can take place. So then we can.
This is the first ever Playfair for people and planet.
Music, it's about vision. The feminine vision is the minoranza vision.
We can start a revolution dancing.
It is through love that revolutions are won.
Take the opportunities of flipping the orthodoxy to make sure we've got a much more prosperous and a much more safer world.
Music has always been a platform to inspire change and promote values. But the music sector can transform its business model to promote greater sustainability, greater social justice, and gender equality. This is what Playfair is all about.
Thank you. You finished? Okay, so then thank you, Marina, for being here, for supporting the summit, also the Reeperbahn Festival, for your work. And now we have a short changeover. Please keep your seats. There are a few more people for the next panel that will be about how the climate crisis might hit the music sector. So keep your seats. We leave our seats and bring on the next guest on stage. Just a second.